Hello, folks. Dan Bird here with the Daily Scan for Wednesday, December the 4th. Brought to you by BreakpointTrading.net. And tonight we're going to talk about something very interesting, I think. And by the way, I will be going to the Money Show in Sarasota, Florida tomorrow through Saturday. So it's very likely I will not be doing a YouTube video tomorrow night. For sure, not tomorrow night. I might be able to do it Friday night. I'm not sure yet, but just want to let you know. And I'm going to be sitting in on some really interesting sessions, not the least of which is John Carter's session tomorrow morning. So I'll report back to you. If I do one Friday, I'll tell you what I learned at the Money Show. Otherwise, I'll do it on Monday or with Zuber on Sunday. So first off, let's do the disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I am not making any recommendations on what to buy or when to buy it. This is for educational purposes only. Each person has to determine their own risk and their own trading style and do their own due diligence. And if you are interested in engaging with a financial advisor, I recommend you go to Investor.gov and make sure that they are reputable. So let's take a look at the market today. Very interesting day today. And first off, the market bias is still chugging higher, slowly but surely. You can see now that it's above the trend line. Trend line now is starting to slope upwards, and we've been above it now for about a week. So that's good news. Let's take a look at the indexes, and these are really interesting. So we broke out on the NASDAQ 100, and I moved the Fibonacci line up to the top of this previous high. So you can see where the Fibonacci lines are now. And interestingly, they kind of line, it's almost like magic, but they line up with some of the support and resistance that we saw back here in the past. So it's continuing to chug higher. NASDAQ 100 gap, it broke out yesterday, and it gapped higher today, and it closed near the high of the day, almost at 21.5. It made it to 21.498 today. So getting very close to 21.5. The S&P also broke out. So move the Fibonacci's up. So this is the 6,000 line now right here. We actually made it to 60.89 was the high, almost hitting 6,100. So I'm pretty confident it's probably going to get there, most likely tomorrow. Now, it's important to understand that we are heading into a dicey period of the month in February, basically from tomorrow until the 19th. Well, I'll show it to you in a second, but it could be choppy between now and then before the market really takes off, but it's showing all signs that it really wants to go higher, and probably by the end of the year, it probably will. There's lots of other things that happen as we get to the end of the year, which I'll talk about as we get closer to that. But the S&P almost at 6,100, and take a look at this. The Dow Jones. Dow Jones made it to 45,000 for the first time ever. Closed at above 45,000 for the first time ever. So that's cause for celebration. And after this little pullback right here, took off today. So that's very strong, very bullish. You can see right there, 45,000. So great for the Dow, continuing to go higher. Hopefully all of this will continue to go up, but we have to be a little bit careful for the next week or so, week and a half. And we'll see what happens. Let's look at Bitcoin. I haven't even looked at this today, but so Bitcoin at 98,292. The high was 99,226. It has not quite broken out, but is getting very close to breaking out. Now the Fibonacci 100% mark is way down here, so this is the next level, which is 161% for the Fibonacci. That's up here at 102.5. So that is very likely the target at a minimum of where we're headed to. So Bitcoin looks great today as well. If we look at it on a closer in chart, you can see right there, There's that 1025 area. So it's very close to actually breaking out to all-time highs. The momentum is actually declining a little bit, which is interesting, but the volume was great today. So above average volume. So all that looks good. Accumulation distribution looks really good. So I think Bitcoin and all the cryptos in general are looking very good. Let's look at the dashboard real quick. So there's the Dow above 45,000. Everything went up nicely. Actually, the VIX went up a little bit today too, but the VIX is 1345. If the VIX gets below 13, which it actually did earlier in the day today, the VIX actually went below 13. That is extremely bullish. And the VIX is basically works off of options premiums 30 days out, 30 days in advance. So it's basically saying that it's very bullish that there's no reason the market can't go higher by the end of the year. NASDAQ also looks very good. Bonds, the 10-year pull back, actually went higher in the morning, but then just continually sold off all day. So ended down here at 4.18 for the day. So that looks good. TLT 20-year is starting to move higher. So 20-year might be a good one to be in right now if it continues going like this into the next year. 30-year coming down a little bit as well. So 30-year, that's a 30-year yield, not 30-year mortgage. Commodities, gold went up slightly, silver slightly. So commodities are all kind of pretty much flat right now. And then crypto, you can see here, Bitcoin heading back towards 100. Here's Ethereum, just all day long went up. XRP actually pulled back today. So here's Litecoin. So Bitcoin's looking good. I think it's going to probably hit 100,000 maybe by the end of the week. So that's what the indexes look like. Here are the sectors over here, and you can see technology, consumer discretionary. The two biggest aggressive sectors are on the top of the list. Industrials pulling up there, and communication services, the other aggressive sector, also in the top 10. So there's XLK. You can see it right there, actually gapped higher and just closed at the high of the day. Same thing with consumer discretionary. Industrials had a good day today, but it has some work to do. But communication services, where the internet stocks are, looking very good. Utilities pull back and still pulling back, and everything else down here is actually negative. And energy was the big loser for the day. Energy went down, actually gave a short-term sell signal today. The industry groups. So this is kind of the way I like to look at things each day. We start at the widest, the market, the indexes first, and then we go down to the sectors to see which ones are performing. And then we go down to the industry groups, and you can see this is durable goods. This is discretionary, industrials, technology, discretionary, technology, discretionary. So the two biggest aggressive sectors are making up most of the top 10. Now take a look at the top 10 list over here. Marvell, and I'm going to show you something else here in a minute. I think Marvell might have reported earnings. Let's take a look at that chart. Earnings, yeah, 12.3 was earnings. So probably after the close yesterday. So Marvell took off, did really well. SoundHound, unfortunately, not in it anymore, but that one's doing really well. Number 2 on the list. CRM, Salesforce, also reported, gapped higher and ended near the high of the day. So very bullish. What else we got? Matt, here's MicroStrategy right there. That actually, it looks like a good entry point right now. So that bodes well for Bitcoin right there. So it's getting ready to cross over. So I think Bitcoin is going to probably hit 100,000, maybe might do it tomorrow even. And then our good buddy Powell Industries, looking good today as well. I think I put an order in for Powell. Hang on a second. If I didn't, I was thinking about doing it. No, I did, but it didn't hit. I put it in for 294 and it never got up there to 294. So might be getting into Powell again right here since it just went above the 21 day. So that's what it looks like for the dashboard for today. Everything's very bullish, and let's hope it continues that way. Now, let me show you something on the daily scan before I get to the Magnificent Seven, which is what I want to talk about today. But let's look real quick at the daily scan, and I'll show you the ones. One of the scans on here, downtrend reversal scan. I'm going to bring them all up to show you. Really interesting names on this one today. So here is the daily scan for today. Vistra Energy, Vertiv, VRT. May be getting back into that one. ServiceNow, there's Powell, NVIDIA, GoDaddy, GEV, that just IPO'd this year, Fortinet, Datadog, Constellation, Atlassian. These are all names that I've seen over and over again. And one thing you can do on stock charts is I created a chart list. So I'm going to save this to a chart list. I created one. I'm going to replace the list. And I created one that I use all the time. So I named it so that it appears at the very top of my list. And I just call it scan dump, but you can call it anything you want. It's basically where I dump all of my scans into, and then that allows me to massage the data. So I'm going to take all of these, dump them into the scan dump chart list like that. And now I can filter by the best performers. So this one here, I know was the best performer. I'm going to look at each one of these. Powell, by the way, was the second best performer. So I want that to come up some and prove that it's going to be going higher. Although I'm going to watch it tomorrow and see what the market's doing in the morning before they open. And I might just put in an order lower than that and see if that one takes. Datadog right here is number 4, up 7% today. ServiceNow up 6%. GoDaddy, NVIDIA looks like it's starting its run, up 3.5%. If we sort by down here, you can see software. 1, 2, 3, 4 software companies. 1 semiconductor, NVIDIA, of course. 2 conventional electricity. So it's very interesting. And here's the material sector right there. So interesting day today on the scan. And, you know, if you don't have to follow my scans, of course. And if anybody wants to get into any of these, this might be a good time, but I'm going to show you each one of them. So what this allows me to do then, first off, you can add and subtract columns here. So I have, this is the forward 12-month dividend yield. I can turn that off and I can look at when the next earnings are if I want to. So it shows me that right there. I can see what the ATR is. So it shows me that, the average true range, the average range that particular stock moves in a day. Market cap, put that on. I can put volume on, see how much volume. But these are the ones I'm gonna take a look at for now. Earnings per share, PE. I don't pay much attention to PE, by the way. But for those that do, you can put the PE on here too. So anyway, that's one of the ways you can massage things in stock charts. So let's take a look at each one. And it gives you this little list of different ways of looking at things. This is the RRG, which is a relative rotation graph. You can see clearly they're all in the top 10 lists. So they're all looking very, very bullish, with INOD being the number 1 and Powell being number 2 right here. So they all look really bullish. You can look at it in different ways, but we're going to look at the chart book, which will let me step through each one of these one by one. And this uses my default view. So we'll look at them each one. So this is non-ferrous metals, materials group. That's getting ready to break out. Let's get to the more interesting ones. Here's Constellation Energy. So there's went up. Here's the pullback right at the 21-day and started to go higher. Next one's Datadog. Datadog's breaking out. They actually already reported, so that is a momentum breakout, and it using consolidation theory, it should the target the measured move should be basically from about 125 to the middle of this is 155, so about 30 more bucks, so 185. So it might have another $20 to go up. That's a target. Doesn't mean it has to stop there, but that's a measured move target of how you measure that with a consolidation like this going sideways. By the way, this is a typical squeeze like I talked about yesterday. We'll look at this one later on the squeeze view. Here's Eaton, Diversified Industrials. Not too exciting. Fortinet. Fortinet is getting ready to break out as well. Sitting right there, just starting to move higher. All the momentum looks great. Here's GoDaddy. GoDaddy again, coming out of a consolidation. So a lot of the charts look like this today, coming out of a consolidation, heading higher. This one here, the target, the measured move would be from 165 to the middle of this is about 195, call it $30. So about 225 is what it might go to. This one here, GEV. This is GE, one of the breakup companies from GE, renewable energy equipment. This one has just been moving higher steadily. It started off, I think, in April this year, and it's just continually moved higher. So this is just a nice steady move right there. So anybody that wants a long-term investment, this might be a good one right there. There's INA, the one that was at the top, big move higher right there. There's the consolidation going across here. So it's just about to break out of that consolidation. These are all great looking charts today, by the way. Might just think about adding these tomorrow. Here's ServiceNow. Some of these are a little too extended, but this is probably earnings. No, it's not earnings. They reported on the 23rd. So ServiceNow is a momentum breakout. So that one looks great. It's $1,100, $1,123. Here's NVIDIA. NVIDIA just starting its move right now. Has not broken out yet, but if it gets above 150, it'll be a breakout. I actually bought calls on NVIDIA today based on this. Here is Next Gen Energy, non-ferrous metals. Not too exciting. There's Powell, good buddy Powell. Just starting to move today. Great volume down here. And the momentum is just getting ready to cross above zero. So you can see the histogram as the bars are getting shorter and shorter, which means momentum is starting to increase to the upside. And if it goes back above zero, which it might do tomorrow, that will confirm the uptrend. So Powell looks good. I might be in that one tomorrow. Here's Atlassian, another software company just steadily moving higher. Fantastic looking chart. Here's VRT. Maybe getting into this one as well. This was on our list before, came back down to the 21-day. You can see how the volume kind of dried up down here. And then yesterday and today, yesterday the volume started to picked up a little bit today, not too much, but it's above zero, so momentum looks pretty good. And VST, Vistra Energy, which has just been a great stock all the way back from September, just consistently moved higher. Came back, didn't quite hit the 21-day, but starting to move higher again now. So this is conventional energy, similar to Constellation Energy. And you can see on the right-hand side, actually shows you a zoom in of what the chart looks like over here. But this is just beginning to move higher, so that one might be an interesting one to be in as well. So those are all the scans for today, and a lot of them look really good. So I'm going to keep an eye on these. I'll look at it again before the open tomorrow and see if maybe we will add something. So last thing I want to do is take a look at the Magnificent Seven. And I'm going to show you the splash screen I'm going to use for tonight's video. There's what it looks like. Magnificent Seven. +1. So we got Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Netflix, and Netflix is not really officially a Magnificent Seven, but that's my plus one. NVIDIA, and then of course, Tesla over here, the man with no name. So I'm going to take a look at those here in a second and show you something that I've created with the Magnificent Seven on the website. So let's go over to the website right now. And right up here, I have my trend model. These are for subscribers only. It basically identifies the short-term, medium-term, and long-term trends for indexes, sectors, and the Magnificent Seven, plus a few extras. So you see right here, the short-term, medium-term, long-term, it explains what they are. When the 5 crosses the 21 crosses the 50, or the 50 crosses the 200. And anything that's highlighted just changed. So changed from bear to bull this week. So if it's highlighted, it means it happened this week. These are updated every day after the close. And most of the changes today were bullish changes. So short-term column, Google got it up, Meta got it up, and NVIDIA got it up signal short-term. And Meta got a medium-term the next day, and Microsoft also got a medium-term up signal. So no down signals. And Eli Lilly finally waking up. That one got a short-term up signal too. So one thing that I've added on here, so there's a couple of ways you can look at this. You can look down here for next earnings, and it will take you to earnings whispers. Yeah, requires cookies, so I'll accept. So this is Google, and it will tell you what the consensus is 212 for their next earnings, which is January 28th. All right, so that's a way you can see kind of what the consensus is for earnings coming up. But their next earnings is January 28th, and so I had it February 4th, so I need to probably confirm that. But anyway, it's going to be close to there. There's a zoom in. The top one up here shows you the short-term and medium-term signals right on the chart. So you can see it had a short-term down, short-term up today. The short-term signals happen pretty quickly. So the way I would do this, I would use these, is I would take a look at what the chart looks like and look at all the other indicators and perhaps get in on the short-term signal with the understanding that you potentially might get out quickly. And then if it gives you a medium-term signal right after that, that confirms the uptrend. And then I just wouldn't pay any attention to short-term signals after that. I would just pay attention to the medium term from that point on. After you get in on the short term, just watch the medium terms after that. So that's the way I would do it. But they're on the chart. The zoom in over here actually zooms in for a closer look, and it shows you kind of what the support or resistance lines are, trend lines. And you can see here, this was the signal, just like I showed you before. That was a signal to get in, and I will put these on here. That was a signal to get in, and it has not given a down signal yet. So it's above the cloud, which means, and it's above zero. So in general, it's a trending, upwardly trending chart. So that is the plus sign, the zoom in feature. The zoom out feature lets you look at it on a longer term basis. So this one goes back 2 years. And now you can see where after the 2022 bear market, where it was red right here, it turned green right here in May of 23, but you actually could have got in when the PPO, the MACD, went above the zero line, and you'd still be in it. So there has not been a sell signal yet on the long term. So it went all the way from 23 all the way till today. You would have had to live through this little downtrend component, and it still is not back to the high, but it has not given a long-term down signal yet. So that's the plus sign. Now what I've added is an even further out view. These are monthly charts, and this is something I learned today from Katie Stockton. I watched her video today, and she does things on a monthly chart, starts on a monthly chart. So this is a monthly chart of Google, and this is what I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at the monthlies on all of the Magnificent Seven. I'm just going to step through each one. So the things to focus on is, first of all, the momentum up here. You can see momentum cross. This is 22, the 22 bear market. So momentum cross right there, right at the beginning of the year. So 2021 is when all the signals were showing that the market might be rolling over. 2022 is when this crossed up here. Even though it's above zero, still it's giving you an early warning sign. And then the force indicator down here crossed too, shortly after that. So that was a confirmation to get out. It would have been out early in 22 and not back in until October, actually beginning of 23 for confirmation. The bottom was actually in October, but confirmation was a little bit into 23. And right now it's still moving higher. Now it looks like it's getting ready to cross right there. It has not crossed, and this is a monthly chart, so keep that in mind. Monthly charts move very slowly, so this could very easily start to move higher, and this will just curve up instead. So it has not crossed yet. And one thing that Katie said was when it does cross, she will give it a couple of more weeks just to make sure that it's valid. And you can see this is the relative strength versus the S&P down here. You know, how is Google doing versus the S&P? It's above the zero line. Zero's down here, so it's outperforming the S&P. And then this is the 50-day moving average showing how it's doing versus its own relative strength. So sitting right basically at neutral right now. So that's how I'm going to look at each one of these. I'll go through them fairly quickly, but you can just get a overall view. Interestingly, this goes back, this is a 20-year chart. So it goes back to the 2008 bear market back here, the financial crisis, where it actually went below the 200 month. This is the 50 month, which is the 200 week moving average, this red line. This is the one that's on my secular bull and bear chart on the homepage. So that's a 200 week moving average. So it went below that back here, went above it finally in 2010. It broke out of the secular bear market in 2013 right here. And we have been in a secular bull ever since then. And you can see what a secular bull looks like. In general, it stays above the 21 month moving average. So that's almost a 2-year moving average, the blue line. And certainly stays above the 200 week or the 50 month moving average right there. This is the cyclical bear market in 22, came down and basically just touched it right there and then took off again. So until this comes down to this blue line, there's not too much concern. It's still very bullish, even though this looks like it's getting ready to cross over, but there's still room for this to move. All right, let's look at the other ones. Here's Eli Lilly. This is just going to be in alphabetical order. Eli Lilly, there's the downtrend. It came down to the 21 and bounced off of it. You can look over here on the right-hand side. That's a hammer right there. So that looks like a reversal. This is a long-term chart, remember. It's a monthly chart. So Eli Lilly looks like it might be getting ready to start higher. Here's Meta. Meta just chugging right on up. It's a 45-degree angle going up. Again, it's sitting right there at the crossover, but this is a monthly chart, so this could take a time to cross over. It may not cross over. It might just continue to go higher like it did back here. And then down here, you can actually see it a little bit better. So all the momentum, this is the relative strength versus the S&P, the blue panel down here, very strong. Meta has been very strong. So this is in the internet space. Communication services, like I showed you in the very beginning, communication services, technology, and discretionary, the three aggressive sectors are the ones leading the market right now. And internet right there is where Google is. I mean, Meta, sorry. Google too, but this is Meta. Here's Microsoft. Microsoft crossed over momentum, but it's starting to head back up again and never came to the 21 month, remember. That's the 21 month. This is the 2022 cyclical bear, never breached the 200 week, but it did back here in 2008. So this is what we want to watch. When it crosses below the 21 like this, it's giving us an early warning signal. That was way back in 2006. And then in 2007, right here, right at the end of 2007, it crossed again. And the force indicator crossed right there basically in December of 2007, giving us an early warning. Could have got out anywhere through this sideways period. That's about a 6-month period before the market really crashed until the beginning of 2009. March of 2009 was the bottom. But that's what Microsoft looks like. Here's Netflix. This is the one that's not officially in the Magnificent Seven, but it should be. This is, again, just a monster chart, just continually chugging higher. And even the momentum just keeps looking stronger and stronger. So Netflix just keeps going. You can see how it's going versus the S&P. Clearly outperforming. And by the way, this is a performance chart down here. And what that means is it compares it with the S&P, but it uses a 0% as the relative line. So if it's above 0%, that means it is outperforming the S&P, and it's actually outperforming it by 10,000%. So just to give you a sense of scale here, Netflix is outperforming the S&P by 10,000%. Here's NVIDIA. NVIDIA, again, just chugging higher, but it is crossing over. So, and it actually went below zero down here on the histogram. So that's interesting. We need to keep an eye on that. This might be an indication of what might happen after December is finished. And even the volume down here is very low on this uptrend. So that's not a good sign. This is actually a negative divergence right here. This is heading down at the same time this is heading up. And again, 16,000% versus the S&P. Clearly outperforming on a relative basis. Here's Oracle. Oracle looking really good. Oracle's up here. Only 225%, 230% for Oracle versus the S&P. But it's looking very good as well. You can tell, you can see all of these look really bullish. There are some concerns, though. There's some warning signs in here if you're watching, and not things I think that might happen in the next month, but I think they are maybe lining up for next year. So Palantir has just been a monster as well. It's going. This is parabolic right here. This doesn't last, and I certainly wouldn't be getting in at the top right now. But this one looks really good. 300% outperforming the S&P. Next one, SMCI, which has just been awful, but lately. So this is a monthly chart, remember. So last month it printed a candle, not a candle, a hammer candle. That's this right here. So that is a very bullish candle. This could be reversing. I'm very leery about SMCI just because of their accounting issues. So I'd be careful with that one. But it's outperforming. All of these look like they are. Here's Tesla. Tesla's just been fantastic, but unbelievably, it hasn't broken its high. So it could very easily go back to all-time highs again, which are back here. High was 414, and right now it's at 358. So that's not that far. So Tesla could easily go out and take out its previous high. It's going to run into resistance when it gets there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it get up into the 400 area and then reverse and pull back and maybe form a handle to this cup. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So that's Tesla. Tesla is 3,700, 3,800, outperforming the S&P. Apple, just consistently moving higher. This one, the momentum doesn't even look like it's getting ready to cross over or go down. It's got plenty of room to move. Apple outperforming by 5,000%, the S&P. All these look great, don't they? This is what the Magnificent Seven looks like. AMD, interestingly, today, it looked like it was starting to get a little bit of life today. I'm going to go back to this one and look at it again. This is a monthly chart, remember. So this is for the month, and we've only just begun the month. So this is just for the first couple of days of December, but it's moving higher. But it's only outperforming the S&P by 25%. So this is the lightweight of the group. But one maybe to watch. Amazon looks fantastic. It's, at all-time highs once again. Momentum is starting to move higher again. Started to come down and go flat, but now it's moving up. And it's outperforming by about 1,800%. And Arista Networks getting close to crossing over, but look at that 45-degree angle just moving higher. All of these are just very, very bullish charts, amazingly bullish. Here's Broadcom, which actually reports tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with Broadcom. They report tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry, no, they don't. That's September. They report on the 12th. So they report next week. So it'll be interesting to see that it's already crossed over up here, which is an early warning. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to start coming down, but it is a warning sign. So something to keep an eye on when they report. And Google, I think that was where we started. Yeah, back to Google right there. Okay, I want to look at AMD again real quick. Here's AMD. So we'll look at it in a closer view. So here's the last couple of days. And you can see today it just went above the 21-day moving average. The longer term momentum is starting to move up. The accumulation distribution, which has just been heading downward for quite a while since mid-October, is now just beginning to perk up, and money flow is just starting to go positive again. So, and the volume was pretty decent today on this little hammer. It's not exactly a hammer because the hammer would be at the low after a downtrend. So that was a hammer right there. And that typically is a reversal candle. So it looks like it is reversing and starting to move higher. We'll see how that does. So on that note, also two things I want to look at back on the website on the charts page. I want to look at semiconductors and software. So here's semis. They actually had a down. They were in the bottom 10% for last week, but let's see what they're looking like right now. So look at that. They're starting to move higher. Basically all of this week, there's a huge hammer last week. So what's this? Wednesday, Monday. So Friday, that's the day before Thanksgiving. Had a hammer right there. That was the reversal signal. So semiconductors are starting to move higher. It's got a triple top right here. So it's going to have some resistance when it gets there. So we'll see if it breaks out. But and look at the volume down here too. So the volume looks really good. So semiconductors, that's where AMD is. That's where Marvell is. That's where NVIDIA is. There's lots of semiconductors in there. That looks like it might be on its way. Software is the other one I wanted to look at. Look at software. Software is absolutely breaking out. So it's now at all-time highs. It gapped up, broke through resistance right here today, and gapped up big time. And that's because of all those software companies that I just showed you that just reported. They're all reporting great earnings. So software looks like it might be the place to be. One way we can look for stocks in that group, we go to stock charts and we go to charts and tools, and we can go down here to sector summary, click on sector summary, and here's the technology group right here, which is where software is. You can see it's number one today for the week. It's number one for the week. Actually, there's the three aggressive sectors for the whole week, number one. And we can go back a month, and then it drops down to number four. But if we look at the technology sector, it brings up all the industry groups inside of technology. You can see software is number one for the month. Let's just look at for today. It's number one for today. Semiconductors is number two for today. And if we look at software, it will show us the number one stocks that are performing for today. So SoundHound is one of them. Unfortunately, not in it. But here's SoundHound AI, which is interesting. It has its own ticker. I did not realize that. I'm not sure why it has its own ticker. At any rate, here's Salesforce. Broke out today, looks great. Here's MicroStrategy. Actually looks really good today. Here's Atlassian was on, remember it's on our scan list. Here's Datadog on our scan list. What else is on here? Riot is um, a Bitcoin stock. Here's ServiceNow breaking out. Here's Snowflake breaking out. All these charts are just going straight up. What else we got down here? Okta has been struggling lately, but it looks like it might be taking off. MongoDB starting to take back off again. CleanSpark is another Bitcoin stock. What do we got? Confluent, one that's been on the top 10 list, 3250. Let's actually look at this one right there. It's starting to take off today, actually broke out today. So you can see this has been in the top 10 list. It's on the list that I use for scanning. It's never actually come down to the 21. That's why it didn't actually appear on the scan, because I wanted to come all the way down here and then start going up. It didn't really do that. So it's actually stronger than what I scanned for. Confluent, here's Workday, software company, DocuSign. Take a look at this again, DocuSign. Looks like it's taking back off. We might want to get back into this one. So I'll take a look at that one tomorrow. And Wix, I'm just going to look at this because it's the company I use to create my website. And look at that. There's consolidation. So down here at 180, consolidation at 220. So that's $40. So it should go up to about 260. That's called a measured move. Doesn't mean it has to. Doesn't mean it will. Just likely that it will. It's a measured move that's consolidation theory. Let's see what else we got here. JFrog, Sentinel, CrowdStrike. It's moving up. CrowdStrike. Look at that. That's just beginning to take off. So that's a great looking chart. It's just starting to take off right now. Earnings are in March. So this one could definitely move higher. All of these software stocks look really good right now. Zscaler, Adobe, Nutanix, there's Robinhood. So that's the way I do it. That's one way to take a look at all the different stocks, see what they're doing. Right on the charts page, you've got the sectors up here and you've got the industry groups underneath it. So anytime you want to look at it, renewable energy has been doing pretty well lately, but it was doing not so well. Actually pulled back today. So it hit the 50-day moving average and the 200, both of them right there and right below the cloud. So that's not a good sign. So I would probably stay away from that one. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will probably not be doing a video tomorrow night because I will be at the Money Show, meeting with lots of great, interesting folks. The guy from Stock Traders Almanac is going to be there. I look forward to talking to him. And of course, John Carter will be there as well. I'm going to see him actually early tomorrow morning. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a great week. And I will try to get back on Friday, but I can't guarantee that either. So it might not be till Monday for the next one. So that's it. Thanks and good luck trading.